Hello and welcome, guys. Today I'll be introducing you guys to to TreeIt, which is free for everyone. It was made free on December 24th, 2014. It's made by Evolve Software, and I'll leave a link in the descriptions. And this is the page you guys will see. You just need to download the TreeIt zip file, which you can extract. You don't need to install anything. It should work when you launch the actual TreeIt file. So when you first start TreeIt, after you've extracted it, this is the screen you guys will see, and I'll break down these things one by one. Also, just a note, I will be using three softwares today. So that would be Unreal Engine, TreeIt, and Blender. But if you guys don't have Blender, or if you guys have, let's say, Maya or Autodesk or something, and you guys know what you're doing, then you guys should still be able to follow along the process. So basically, first tab we have down here is we have trunk. So trunk count, we can increase trunk count, which would define how many of these we have, and we can choose a texture. Now this TreeIt comes with pre-made textures, and if anyone's wondering what the if you're allowed to use it in your commercial projects, then yes. Can I use your shaders for commercial projects? So you can use his textures for commercial projects, but be sensible. Obviously, don't use the don't like sell them as texture packs or separate textures and stuff. But it should be okay if you use these trees overall inside your commercial games. So here we have three tabs. So first we have a base color, the base texture, and there are already quite a few really nice textures in here which you guys can choose down here. So I'll just choose like the first one, and then you have the normal map. You can choose the normal map for the first one and the specular map, and then you can have a blend texture. So if I press OK right now, so right now we just have one texture that's been mapped all the way along this tree trunk. So what you can also do is, if you go down here, you can actually add a second texture which would cause a blend, and then you can find the normal map and the specular map for this. And then you can also have a break texture, which would obviously be when the tree is cut. So this is the full, but I'm not gonna right now worry about a break texture. So here we go. So now once you've added a blend, what this has done for you is you can choose a blend start as like where the blend starts off from, and you can choose a blend fade. So this way you can have multiple textures on one. For example, if I can find maybe a mossy texture, or let's say this snowy texture for example. So maybe you have a snowy scene, so down here you want it to be more white, and up there you want it to be more plain texture. So you guys can do that. And then you have your trunk sides, which obviously would determine your tris count, really, which you can see down here. So this will tell you exactly what is taking how many tris count or the polygons, as it says down here. So you can choose the if you increase these, it would obviously then you can do maybe a lot more cooler stuff, add more bends and stuff, but it would obviously increase the number down here, which would affect your performance inside an actual game. Then you can choose your trunk length, minimum and maximum. So how this actually works is obviously to move up and down, you can hold the right mouse button and go up, down, left, right. You can use the middle mouse button to kind of move around the plant, and you can use the scroll to go back and forth inside the software. So then you have this trunk minimum and maximum. But to show this effect, what I'm going to first do is I'm going to go down to my bend X. I'm going to increase my bend X and increase my bend X max. So now you can see that we have two trunks right now, and what our trunk length has done for us is, if I increase the max, that one increases. So this kind of controls the different trunks that we have on our tree. And then we have a lot more options here, like we have a trunk radius, so we can define how thick we want our trunk to be, and we have our curvature, which you probably want to leave it like this, because I don't see any tree looking like this. Then you have a trunk join offset, where the trunk actually joins close to the ground. So if you take it really high, as you can see, the trunk moves up really high. So this is that, and then you have a crinkliness, which adds this like a cosine to it, which obviously trunk noise is down here as well. And then you can also bend your trunk to the side and Z as well. So on the X and the Z axes, you can actually bend your trunks, and obviously the different would define the different trunks. You also have a flare here, which would kind of change your trunk right from the bottom to give it like a cool shape. And you have flare noise, which would make it really kind of like this, if I can go close to it. So all these settings you guys can actually play around with, and it's a really cool software. I'm loving it so far, and I hope that you guys will also find this useful. And then there's a sign here which adds this kind of like a bendiness to your tree trunks. Okay, so now to move on, the next thing we'll look at is our branches. Now our branches count. Now since we have already chosen our texture for our trunk, it will automatically be applied to the branches, and the radius of the branches is also determined by the radius of your trunk. For example, if I reduce the radius of my trunk in this area, so trunk radius, you can see the branches also start to get smaller. Okay, so that's that. But so first you have your branches. Again, you can choose the sides and the segments, which would influence your polygon counts. So you can adjust it to obviously meet your requirements, so it doesn't look bad, but you're not using too many of these either. Then you have your branchlet count, so you can actually have like smaller branches that actually branch off to give your tree a cool look. You can again choose the sides and stuff down here. You can do a poly reduction, which will try to kind of reduce automatically the polygons. So a value of 5 would obviously reduce it, and if you take this up, it will increase your polygons down there. You can choose a distribution, so how your branches are distributed. If I turn this down to like really low, there's no even distribution anymore. So at 100, there should be an even distribution between the branches. You can choose your branch length, minimum and maximum again. You can choose the center of your branch, the length in the center. You can choose the branch radius again down here. So this radius is independent from the trunk radius, but the trunk radius will also affect your branch radius. Okay, so you can choose I wouldn't worry about wind in here, because this wind will not work inside Unreal Engine. Of course, you can again add noise and sign, and you can do curves with your branches, so they curve in different ways, Z and X. Okay, and yeah, so there's all these options down here. Then the next thing we'll look at, now this actually allows you to add roots as well. So if you're looking to make like a really nice looking tree, you can actually add roots down here as well. So if I add like 3 roots, I suppose, then you can adjust the sides, and you can adjust the radius of the roots. You can adjust the crinkliness. You can adjust the angle they actually go down towards. So all these options down here you can change, but roots I'll leave it, because roots is quite simple and self-explanatory. The next thing we'll look at is leaves. Now if you load texture, you can choose from a lot of single leaves, but obviously using single leaves is going to be a lot more expensive. You can turn up the leaf count down here, and it should add leaves for you on your tree. You can choose the cross section of the leaves. Do you want them crossed? Do you want them halved? How do you want your leaves to look? But obviously this is a lot more expensive. Maybe if you had a game where you're just gonna have this tree with a few leaves, this is kinda acceptable. But if you were having let's say a larger game, or let's say a tree with a lot of leaves, you can go to load texture, and wherever you have your TreeIt extracted, inside here you can actually go to trees. You can actually choose like one of these trees, and you can bring in this leaf texture, for example, and this is obviously multiple leaves, so these are basically branches, leaf branches, and you can move this around to adjust where the branches, sorry, like where the origin of the branches, so where it should actually start from within the branch itself. So this is a really cool trick, and if you guys want to make some branches, you guys can also do that. So you guys can obviously if you want to make a branch, let's say, you can press F2. Like if you have made like a small trunk size, a small trunk radius with a few branches, and you've added some leaves to it, you can press F2, which will give you this rendered image. You can go to Tools, Render to Texture, and you can view alpha, and then you can save this, and this would have a transparent background for you. And obviously if you zoom in here, it will obviously get better. You can also rotate it around here if you guys are looking for a different thing. But one problem with the texture is you want to make sure you have removed your roots, because for some reason it doesn't actually show the roots very well down here. So you can go to Render to Texture, and it should show your plant here nicely. If you are, let's say, having an issue where you want to take a texture but you don't want lighting affecting it, so you can go to your tools, View, and you can turn off lighting. So if I close this quickly, I can go to View, I can turn off my lighting, and now the lighting is not actually affecting this. So this could be useful if you're trying to make the last level of detail for your tree and you don't want any lighting to be affecting your scene. I'm gonna press 1 to go back to my scene. I'm gonna go back to lit mode, which we are familiar with inside Unreal Engine. I'm going to take away my roots and leaves. Of course, you can then again you have this another option here. You can choose a default set for your leaves, like down here. And but this isn't something you need to worry about right now, because these things we will have to do inside Unreal Engine, as Unreal Engine doesn't really accept shaders from many different softwares. So for this what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this like this for now, and now I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to actually go to File, Open. Now wherever your TreeIt is installed, if you go to TreeIt and if you click on Trees, you have all these pre-made trees that you guys can actually just export, and you can take them to Unreal Engine with a few with obviously a little editing inside Blender or Maya or something, and it should look really nice. For example, there's some Queen Palm Tree right here, looks really nice. Now there's one really cool feature the software has, is there's a randomized key right here, or you can choose a seed, which would obviously allow you to have many different varied trees. So if you wanna maybe have like a forest scene, you don't have all the same trees all over the place. You can randomize down here, and you can obviously still access all the options down here to get the tree to look how you want it. Okay, so for this example, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to beach, and I'm going to open the beach tree, and I'll be using this tree to demonstrate to you guys how this actually works. Actually, just going to show you guys quickly. So I was already working on this project. It took me a long time to figure all this out, but in the end I actually had something like this, because it's really hard to get the actual texture of the leaves if it's just a plain to look really good. So this took me a long time, and I've done the level of details for these. So now if I go away, as you can see, it changes the texture to like a plane which I made inside Blender or so. So we'll go over all of that, and for this example, actually not a beach, since I've already done that, I'll show you guys maybe a different tree. So let's try this one. So BIRCH. Yeah. So this tree, if you're happy with it, you can click randomize, find a tree that you like, the shape you like, you can edit it around. Now what we will do is we'll go to File, Export. You don't want to export it as a DBO, you want to export it as an OBJ, which you can obviously access inside Unreal Engine. And also so I'm just gonna call this birch tree. Make sure it's wavefront OBJ. Find a place where you want to save this. I'm going to go to my assets. So I'm going to go to my foliage, and I'm just going to make a new folder here. It's obviously good to make a new folder, because all the textures that are actually with this tree will also come inside here. So I'm going to save this birch tree here. And now I'll head over to Unreal Engine. So now inside Unreal Engine, if I was to, let's say, if I was to go to my meshes, if I was to just import this this tree that I just saved in my foliage, so birch. So if I was to just import this OBJ file, click import. Now obviously right now there are a few issues with this which need to be sorted out. First issue, if we drag this out into our scene, it's obviously too small for the scene. If we make this bigger in size, it's facing the wrong axes. And then if one more thing, if I show you. So if you were to actually apply textures right now, for example, these are actually coming out from the branches, like from the right places, they will be flipped. So you need to also change the UVs on the leaf textures inside Blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open Blender, and I'm just going to press A to delete everything. I'm going to go to my scenes, change it to metric, and 0.01, which would match the scale of Unreal Engine. I'm going to press N, go to N distance, and change to 0.01. Sorry, 1 kilometer, my bad. So there's no more clipping anywhere. So now I'm going to go in here, I'm going to go to File, Import, .obj, the file we saved. I'm going to go to Foliage, Birch, and I'm going to find my OBJ file, not the MTL, just the OBJ file is what we need. Now I'm going to select this, I'm going to press 1 on the number pad to go to front view, 5 to go to orthographic view, take this up about here, Alt Control Shift and C to change the origin to my 3D cursor down here. So then I'm going to scale this up, and this should be a reasonable amount to scale up around here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File. If you go to, like, let's say your materials, it already has predefined materials, so that's okay. I'm going to go to File, Export, FBX, and I'm going to call this Birch, and export. Okay, and now we will, I'm just going to bring my content browser forward, and I'm going to find my, so assets, Foliage, and inside here I'm going to go to import, and I'm going to find my my tree that I've just saved, so the Birch FBX, and I'm not going to import the textures, oh sorry, not the materials. I'm just going to click import. Okay, so now when we if I'm to drag this tree out into the scene now, first thing you guys will notice is that the size is actually quite decent now, so which obviously you can go back and adjust, so you can just adjust it here now, and is facing the right direction compared to our older tree, which is right here. And now I'm just going to go to my textures, and I'm going to import. So this is my bark. So how it exports the textures is so there's the actual texture, there's the normal map, and there's the specular map, and then your birch leaf. So this is pretty much all you need to worry about right now. Don't worry about the blending right now. So okay, so I'm gonna control click these three, and I'm gonna control click my leaf texture. I'm going to open this. Now I'm gonna create bark 4, create material, and I'm also going to create a material for my leaf. Which is right here, so create material for the leaf. I'm just going to open my bark material, and I'm going to drag in the bark 4 specular map and the normal map in here. Just drag and drop, and I'm just going to move my materials to my materials folder. So move here. Okay, so now inside my bark material, it's actually quite simple. Specular map goes into specular. This obviously I've got the wrong one, so bark 4. So the main texture goes into base color, and the normal map goes into normal map, and just going to add a roughness parameter. So just press S and add that down there as well. So I'm just going to type roughness here so I can access that inside my material. So I'm just going to save this. And the second thing I'll do is inside here, so inside my materials again, I'm also going to find my my leaf that I just made. I'm going to drag the now the leaf materials you have to really like work around and to get it to really perform nicely. So the best method I came up with is kind of this down here. So this whatever's going on down here. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm just gonna copy and paste this. So I'm just going to copy all these and paste into my new material, and then I'll just change the main texture, and I'll go through what this is actually doing down here. So I'm just going to Control V here. After I pasted everything, okay, so first of all I have a so just you can press S to bring in a scalar value, and you can name that down here, which is my my specular, my roughness, and then I have my main texture here. So I'm gonna just gonna find this texture, and inside here I'm gonna get this texture down here. Okay, so I have my main texture. So first of all, if you look up here, what I'm doing is I have two vector parameters which you can bring in by pressing V. I've just named them 1 and 2 because these are my base colors. And I've added a lerp, so the actual texture from here is going into the alpha, and these two are going into A and B. And this I will connect to my base color. And then I have an opacity down here, so I have a multiply node. The alpha goes into the multiply node, and I have a scalar parameter called opacity, which I am going to connect to my opacity. And then I have my my alpha down here, which I am going to connect to opacity mask. And I also have this thing down here, so subsurface. This I will connect to my subsurface color. And another vector parameter here, so the texture goes into B and the texture goes into A. And then I have added these more values down here, and I've named them accordingly to add wind to my leaf, which I will connect to world position offset. So now once this basic thing is ready, as you guys can see, some of these nodes aren't white as the others. It's because they're not active at the moment. So I'm going to select my main material, and I'm going to go to masked because we have a masked texture down here. And I'm going to make it two-sided and turn this to two-sided foliage, which allows our subsurface color to also show up. Right now it's all black, which is because these textures don't have a color. I'm just going to click apply to this and then save this. Okay, so after I've saved this, I will go over to my tree itself. I'm gonna go to my meshes. I'm going to open the tree up down here, and I'm going to go to content browser again, go to materials. I'm going to just make a material instance for both of these that I have just saved. So bark 4 down here, create material instance, and birch leaf. Also I'm going to create material instance. Now I'm just going to find out which one is which, so I can click isolate down here, so I know that this should be my my trunk and this should be my leaves, or you can do highlight and it tells you which one is which. So back in my content browser, I'm going to drag the material instance down here for the leaves and the bark up here. Sorry, up here. So bark up here, which is wrong. So bark down here and leaves up here. So once we have this, now as you guys can see already, what it's done is because we haven't actually edited our UVs inside Blender. So right now the branches are facing the wrong way, but we will look into that in just a second. For now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my material instance. I'm going to move this on this screen. I'm going to go to the other one, just so you guys can see what I do down here. So now, if all our properties are right inside there, we have our opacity. This I'm going to turn to 0.1, our roughness to 1, specularity to perhaps 0.3, and I'm going to check all these 3 colors that I had in there. I'm going to choose some colors for my leaf. Now as you guys can see, the colors will not actually change the texture because our texture still shows up, so the colors are only influencing how what the texture actually looks like. And then you can add some more colors down here, which will start to add slight variation, I guess, to your textures, just a little bit. You can go green. Now as you guys can see, they look slightly different from different sides. And then the next thing we also have down here is we can, I don't know what color I should go for, maybe like a green for all of these. So it looks a little nicer. It looks a bit unnatural now. So if it does look a bit unnatural for you guys can actually go back to your leaf material, which would be this one, and perhaps you can So it's really about playing around with the settings until you get a result that you really like. Okay, so I'm kind of happy with how it looks right now. And so once we have done that, now if you go back to our scene, you can see that it doesn't look too bad anymore. But still, obviously, the branches are facing the wrong way, so that's not really that helpful. And one more thing we can do just before we head back to Blender is we can turn up our wind. All of them need to have some value on there for the leaves to actually start moving. As you guys can see, the leaves are now moving. So now, to sort this issue out, back inside Blender, I'm going to press N to make this bar go away. I'm going to drag this left and press T. I'm going to go to UV Image Editor. If you press Tab, you can see the software has already obviously unwrapped the texture for us. I'm going to press C, select this edge, right click, and down here I'm going to zoom in. So I can only so the only thing I have selected is this. I don't want to select the bark texture at all, because we will be just like this, which I just did. So if you accidentally select something, just press A twice and it'll deselect everything. Okay, so I'm going to select this, keep doing the same thing. So obviously it's a middle mouse button to move. I was using the right, which was, of course, I'm going to make sure this is deselected. And I'm going to just select the other side. So this square is actually our leaf unwrapped. I'm going to select this. And up here I'm going to select this and this. Now I'm just going to rotate this. So I'm going to press R and do maybe about 180 degrees. And I'm just going to make this just slightly smaller than its original size. Now if I do File, Export FBX, I'm going to export it over the same file. Inside Unreal Engine, I'll go to my content browser. I'll go to my meshes. I'll right click on my tree and do re-import. And let's see if it's made any difference. So right now it's still not sorted, so I'm going to rotate it just a bit more. So I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees now. And then File, Export FBX. And then re-import. Okay, here we go. So now that I've re-imported this, you guys can see that it's roughly coming out from where it should. Where the branches actually are. And right now, of course, I have one more thing I am using 4.15 now, and I do have a post-process volume in here with so if I disable that, sorry, if I enable that, the scene starts to look a bit different with tone mapping and everything. So this kind of works now for us, and then of course, if you guys want to, you can obviously change the colors down here to perhaps a bit more green. To try and reach perhaps a realistic color or something. Or if all of this doesn't look very good to you, what you guys can do is head back to your main material, and I'm just going to take away this lerp from down here, and I'm just going to connect this to my base color, and I'm just going to do apply and save. So now I'm not using the lerp and these 1 and 2 textures down there. Now if I go back to my scene, once it's saved, and inside my material instance, so I'm going to bring up my material instance. Oh, sorry, this is the wrong one, so it's this one that I need to change. That's the issue. If you have too many things open, you end up changing the wrong one. So anyways, once I've taken this away, I'm going to click apply. And then inside my material instance, once it loads, now I only have one color, and obviously it looks a lot better now. Really depends on how you guys want it to look. So now you guys can change the kind of like the density down here. So something like this would work. Then of course you can turn up the opacity, which is 0.1, should be fine. You can turn down the roughness if you want it to look a bit more metallic. So this is basically all I want to show you guys. Just a way to get your trees to work nicely. And of course, if you guys do want to, let's say, make level of details for this, so for that what I'll do is I'll go to Blender. I'm going to press tab here. I'm just going to do Shift A, add a plane, go to front view, RX, type 90, and all I want to do is I want to make sure that so I'm going to Control Shift Alt C, so origin is at the bottom, scale on the Z axis, scale on the X axis, and then I'm just going to do Alt D and then RZ90. So now we have a cross plane across here. And I'm going to press tab and just click unwrap, simple unwrap, and inside TreeIt you can go to press F2, turn the lighting off, go to tools, render to texture, and you can obviously take this texture to Unreal Engine. Now I won't do this all over again, but I'll show you guys how I have done the other one. So for this one, for example, inside my content browser down here, so what I have here is so inside your main tree, your whatever tree you guys have decided to make, for example this tree. So inside your main tree, what you can do is you can scroll down, you can go to where you have LOD settings, you can turn up the LOD settings, and you can turn off auto compute LOD distances. So I have turned this up to 3, and as you guys can see this number down here, when I'm close by it's like about 5k, as I start to move away it goes down to 1181. And when I move to a significant distance it goes down to 96. So for this, what you guys can do is if you guys have made that mesh, for example this mesh right here, once you've unwrapped this, you can go to open, and the whatever texture you save inside TreeIt down here, you can bring that texture in. So the texture I did earlier on was this one right here, so for the side planes, and you can go to texture here to have a look at what it looks like, and you just want to make sure that it roughly matches the size of the tree. So the texture itself roughly matches the size of the tree. I'm going to go to front view, and I'm going to select this, it's my plane, I'm going to press tab, and I'm going to scale in and press G. You can press G and Y to, or S and X to like scale on different axes, and then I'm going to make this slightly smaller, and S and X. And now as you guys can see, it roughly matches the texture of the tree. And you can obviously take this inside Unreal Engine, so you can export it here. Take this inside Unreal Engine, you can go to your LOD settings, you can import that in here, so you can go to base LOD, re-import LOD level 1, or you can import a new one. You can bring that in, you can bring in your textures. So for me, I brought in this texture right here. So this texture right here, I brought in, and then you can make a material out of that, and the material itself will be the thing I found about these is you can use the same things. So this is my material setup for this. So I have a subsurface color, material surface mask, two-sided, foliage and two-sided, and I have a lerp down here with the alpha of the texture in here, and the texture sample in B, and a vector parameter in A, and then I have the same thing for the opacity and the opacity mask and the subsurface color. So in the end, the result you have is something that looks like this. So when you go away, it changes the texture. Of course, you might need to adjust the colors a bit inside your material instance to match the colors of your main trees. But overall, I would say this software works really good. It just takes a lot of optimization and things to get this to work how you want it to work. But this is it, guys. This is what I want to show you guys. Of course, inside here, if I press F1, there's a lot more than what I've showed you. So inside your the folder that you have extracted TreeIt, there's a lot of cool trees in there. For example, this coconut palm tree that you might have seen in some of my other tutorials. Those randomized will give you different shapes as many times as you do it. So this is it, guys. This is all I wanted to show you guys today. I hope you guys found this somewhat useful, and I hope you guys will make some nice trees. If you guys want to share something, leave some links in the description, and I'll check out your trees too. And this is it, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.